Base is dropped in a new round of the morning show here in the SDH Network. John here, you there. Thanks for dropping by this morning. Hour number one is the more newsy of the two. Hour number two is our standard Thursday fare, where it's the power hour, fully loaded with our buddy Nino from Gold TV. We'll talk Libertadores, Sudamericana, anything else on his mind. And then obviously our buddy Niko Moreno from Pulso Sports, the soccer bar. He'll join us in the last half hour of the show. And we'll go over what's on Niko's mind. It could be more Libertadores and more Sudamericana. But we've got Leagues Cup to talk about. And we've got a new round of matches to talk about. Now that we have made it as a nation, almost out of Leagues Cup entirely, there are matches to talk about. And so we'll go through another round of cliffhanger with Niko for the last half hour of the show this morning. So, how you doing? I feel like I should get that drop from our buddy Joey Tribbiani and see what's going on. Hour number one, like I said, it's going to be kind of newsy, and it's whatever's on your mind as well with all of the activity that happened yesterday. And we're going to spend some time on what was announced this morning out of the NWSL. The NWSL and the NWSLPA have agreed on a new collective bargaining agreement. We'll go through it. There's some important stuff in there. And it's in addition to the important stuff that should have been in there a long time ago, there's something in there that I think we all need to pay attention to because of the knock-on effects of this particular section of the new bargaining agreement that the NWSL has with the NWSLPA. Good through 2030. Fantastic that it's online. And the more that I talk about what's going on with the NWSL and the NWSLPA, we probably should see if our buddy Tyler Griever from WDRB in Louisville can come and join us because Louisville made another deal yesterday. They're bringing in Janine Becky. So literally, if you thought that Racing Louisville had taken all of their chips and had gone to the center of the table, this is that point in Casino Royale where the fellow agent sees that Bond really needs chips, the U.S. agent, and he sees that Bond really needs some help financially. So he's like, yeah, okay, here, bud, take mine and make the bet. So that's where we are. It's like you thought they were in the center of the table, everything. Nope. CIA guy helps out MI5, pushes everything to the center of the table for round number 2. So we'll get into that in hour number 1. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff to get into with it. It's really important. It's great that they do have this agreement considering the growth that is happening in the NWSL. But we'll go through it because of there's a knock-on effect, I think, that we need to look at in one version, in one universe of what could happen down the line involving the NWSL and the codicils that have been put on the board with the new collective bargaining agreement. Okay. Morning, Kefsey. Morning, Alex. And morning, Harry. Harry jumped in before we were even up and running. And, yeah, Harry, we do too. And we're gradually, if we ever have time to breathe, going to be rolling out, gear and stuff. I don't know if Jason has any more of these hanging around the office, but he has a limited supply. Double check with Jason and see if the limited supply of these can be had by you and yours by interacting with Jason on the media that is social. And that is like stage number 1 of the rollout of all of the stuff because Abby's looking for stickers to put on cars because, when you have a new Abstermobile, you got to have stickers. You got to have those kinds of things to put on everything. Yes, morning, Abby. And so Abby's looking for stickers and hats, and we're all looking for the gear. Don't forget, you can get all of our T-shirts and all the stuff that we have put out there into the universe. You can pick that up. Go to soccerdownhere.net, and you can go to our Teespring store. There's a click-through banner, and you can get all the gear, the Action at the Fraction T-shirts, all of the other T-shirts that we put online, all of the sweatshirts and things. You can go to our Teespring store, and helps us out, helps you out, and helps everybody spread the word about SDH and what's going on. All right, so opening kickoff brought to us by our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. There's your QR code. For those of you who are watching on the 280-character app, on Twitch, and on the YouTubes. So what you do is you click that banner and you go through to our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. Don't forget to use the code soccer down here 15 when you check out. You get 15% off your purchase. They in turn take 10%, reinvested in youth games, youth initiatives. Very, very cool stuff from our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. As I sit here and wave my hand in front of the other QR code from our friends at Alliance Nurse Corps, over 30 years of experience in trying to find folks their new career or their career in nursing or their new steps in their career in nursing. Right there. Go to that QR code from our friends at Alliance Nurse Corps, over 30 years of experience in finding folks their new gig in nursing. And when you are asked, when you go through that QR code itself, how did you hear about us? Alliance Nurse Corps will ask. You sit there and you go, SDH, yo. Or just say soccer down here. Because if you did SDH, yo, I don't know if that would necessarily trigger something. But Alliance Nurse Corps, if you're looking for a career or a new career in nursing or career steps in nursing, go to our friends at Alliance Nurse Corps and they will help you out. All right. Time to play musical chairs. And thank you, Michael. This is from our friends at Roots of Fight. And you'll notice that I will wear a lot of their stuff. Sorry, sidebar. Put pause on opening kickoff for a second. Yeah, Roots of Fight, they have a lot of really cool stuff. They're tied to Maradona and Jesse Owens and Jim Thorpe and Bret Hart and Rey Mysterio and Ric Flair. And so you can get their gear, Jackie Robinson and Muhammad Ali. And so I think I have every section of the Pele collection. And so it goes through all of the World Cup appearances that he's had and everything. So, yeah, this is from our friends at Roots of Fight. And anytime that I can get a seriously discounted sweatshirt, I'm going to do it. And even if it's a couple sizes too big, because all I need to do is put it in hot water and it shrinks. And so, yeah, this initially was a 3X when I bought it. And so I shrunk it a couple of times. But, yeah, Roots of Fight. And so, yes, I have a lot of their gear, and I'm probably going to end up getting a lot more. Okay. Time to play Name That Tune. And for those of you that might be, the true sickos of the planet, there's a new anthem out with one of the competitions that we're paying attention to, and we'll come up with the results from yesterday on the other side, and we'll get you ready for today, by the way, as they are going through their qualification cycles. The Champions League came out with a new anthem. So I'm going to play it, and I'm going to ask if you think it's different. They made a big deal out of it. They posted it on social media, and it'll be played before every match, as it always is. You have the high note to finish. So here is, and this is from our buddy Niko Contour, this is the new Champions League anthem. Rip and run. Here we go. Okay, that's their new version of their anthem that they're going to play before every match. And is it different to you? They made a big deal out of it being different. I don't know how different it is. Might be a little cleaner. Maybe. Same chorus. They tap those folks on the shoulder. It's like, hey, we need you to go in the studio again. Like I said, it might be a little cleaner. Not as because there was some sandpaper that was in the previous anthem, so I think they cleaned up all of the crackle from the turntable. But they made a big deal out of that being the new anthem. I don't know how different it is. Like I said, I think that the crackles that you get from the turntable from the previous anthem, I think they got rid of that. That's about it. But anyway, and you wonder, you wonder, man, I wonder what the price tag was to make this happen. Of course, I'm sure that UEFA was kind of like, yeah, whatever, yeah, whatever. Yeah, just look, just do it. Send us a bill. We'll figure it out. So, um, yeah, well, and Abby, is like, I can't understand it. I don't even know if there's words. Legitimately, I don't know if there's words. I have no idea. So, yeah, that's their new anthem. Meet the new anthem, same as the old anthem. Abby says it's very churchy, and it is. I mean, yes, David, this is the anthem. Throw all your hands up. Everybody waves from side to side. Frankly, I get more run out of Joe Hendry's song than I do this. Say his name and he appears. And I'm not talking about Alexander Sefrin, but yeah, I mean literally, yeah, Red Star Dutch beer anthem. Yeah, and KFC basically that's what it is. It's the new Red Star Dutch beer anthem. But you're like, huh? Thank you, Alex. Thank you. I'm glad that Alex knows this song better than I. Or the words are the champions over and over, but in different languages. Thank you. I've never understood the song until now. Until now, I have never understood the lyrics. And Alex has opened that door for me. I did not know. I got the angelic, the champions in English, but I did not know that there were other angelic song interpretations of those two words in the song. So, okay. But to me, like I said, it just looks like they took it off a turntable and turned it into a CD, I don't sense much of a difference, but they made a big deal out of it yesterday. So I just wanted to put that to the floor and go, is this different? Paycheck for the group that put it together, I'm sure it was quite large. And they'll do it again probably in another couple of years to sit there and go, hey, we kind of need to spice this up a little bit. Okay, spice it up for us. Could you imagine the meeting that they have in the glass encased conference room? Long table, probably a good 15 feet long, corner office, window for looking outside to see the Swiss Alps there in Lausanne, at the FIFA offices maybe, or the UEFA offices, in whatever large skyscraper the UEFA headquarters is in. You said, go like to the 38th floor, and so you're going to Nyon, Switzerland, and hanging out with UEFA. So you go to wow, it's only a 3-story building. That's disappointing, but it is on the water. So you go to Nyon, Switzerland, and you go to the corner office on the 3rd floor, and you present your idea. It's like, okay, get back to us with the new anthem. The 2 or 3 folks that go from the recording studio, they record it. They do whatever, then they come into the corner office. So what'd you bring us? And they play the thing, and then everybody, Alexander Sefrin and everybody at UEFA is just kind of sitting there going, and then you explain what's different about it, and then they go, okay, great, cool, you got it. Rubber stamp goes out, and it ends up being what it is. David says it's the TikTok remake version, speeded up, auto-tune, etc. But yeah, you get that presentation in a 3rd floor corner office. You hear the ice machine going in the background while you're trying to hear the song for all 40 seconds of it. Folks are watching the qualifying rounds, and they're trying to see if it fits. All the folks on break watching the qualifiers in the break room. I can see Sefrin opens the door. Hey, need you guys to come in here for a second. So then the folks in the break room come in. We need you to listen to this. So we're going to wait, or we're going to rewind. We're going to rewind this. We're going to rewind this match to the absolute beginning. So, like, say yesterday it was the let's say it was the Young Boys Galatasaray match yesterday. So Young Boys and Galatasaray are walking out onto the pitch, and Alexander Sefrin taps everybody who was on break, who's now in that third floor conference room. And they've got their cups of coffee, they've got their snacks, crackers and chips and everything, and they're just kind of standing in the back of the room while everybody's still at the long table. And Alexander Sefrin goes, "Okay, I need you to listen to this." And so they sync up the procession and the new music. They play the new music with the procession that they've rewound because of the beauties of modern day television. So what do you think? Oh, yeah, great, boss. Does it sound different to you? Does it sound updated? Yeah, it sounds fantastic. Sounds great. Yeah, great. Good. Okay, cool. All right, go back to work. Then they go back to their break, close the door. Sefrin's like, okay, pulls out the UEFA checkbook. All right, how much did we say? Okay, send me an invoice. Bang, and everybody leaves. I'm guessing that was nowhere close to the presentation, but that was just how I had it in my head in Nyon, Switzerland, when this theme got signed off on in the third floor corner office conference room. Everybody goes away happy, and you get to hear that 40 seconds in front of every match now from now on. So yesterday, until they remake it in like 3 years, can you make it snazzier? Can you give me a C, a bouncy C? Those kinds of things. Give me a couple of years. So yesterday in the qualification round, just so we know, Salzburg beat Dynamo Kyiv at a plus 125, 2-0. Same score. Sparta Prague at a plus 208 over Malmo. Midtjylland and Slovan Bratislava drew at 1 at a plus 323. Young Boys in a 5-goal thriller at a plus 245. Beat Galatasaray by the score of 3-2. And so that sets up the next matches today. And remember, it's 2 legs in the opening round. So the next matches will be of those 3 on the 27th and 28th. So that's your new round of Champions League. I don't know if the Europa League has been changed. I don't know if the Europa League anthem has changed, but you've got qualification today starting at 1 o'clock. RFS out of Latvia against Apoel Nicosia at a plus 160. Lusk and our buddy George Bello favored at a minus 118 against FCSB out of Romania. Mulda favored against Elfsborg. Victoria Pilsen, big favorite against Hearts. Yes, those Hearts. Pauk, massive favorite against Shamrock Rovers. And that's at 130. Ludogorets out of Bulgaria, big favorite against Petrocub out of Moldova. Petrocub. It's got to be a gas station with a bear. Maccabi Tel Aviv, big favorite against TSC at 2 o'clock, 2:30. Lugano, an underdog at home against Besiktas, 2:45. Dynamo Minsk, a big underdog as Anderlecht visits. Jagiellonia in Poland, a big underdog against Ajax at 2:45 at a minus 132. Ferencvaros, big favorite against Borac Banja Luka out of Bosnia-Herzegovina at 3 o'clock. And then at 3:30, Braga, big favorite against SK Rapid Vienna out of Austria at a plus 391. So, yeah, Europa League qualification today is part and parcel to the table. But, yeah, the new anthem came out, and I was like, does this sound different? Didn't really. Like I said, a little cleaner. If you're happy with it, there you go. We're going to hear it anyway. That's opening kickoff. Brought to us by our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. There's your QR code for those of you who are watching, however you are accessing us, whether it's on the YouTubes, the Twitch, or the 280-character app. You hit that button, you hit that QR code, you go through to Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. And then what you do is you use the code SoccerDownHere15. You get 15% off your purchase. They, in turn, take 10%, reinvest it in youth games, youth initiatives. Very, very cool stuff from our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. And then, once again, our friends at Alliance Nurse Corps off my left shoulder. Abby was wondering about the appearance that I had last night on Scarves in Spikes. That was fun. I mean, I was there for the opening half hour, and they had not ever heard my Dusty Rhodes impression. And so spent a lot of time as the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, Lord rest his soul. And we talked about Atlanta United, talked about LAG, but I went down the road of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, and I think I sent the show off the rails and over the edge of the cliff, kind of like Toonces the driving cat, just kind of took it. I was Toonces in this case, and I just took the car and we went over the edge. So it was fun. I don't know if they'll ever invite me back. Maybe they'll want to talk more soccer as opposed to how much we talked about last night when I was there. So we'll see. But no, it was fun to go and hang out with them, and it was really cool to be on the night side where I was a little more awake than I traditionally am in the morning. But no, I was humbled to have been asked, and so in the future, it got to a point. There was one, and it's up on YouTube, but there was one point where apparently Tyler's home internet crapped. Sid dropped off, and then Tyler dropped off, and so literally it was me and Tommy for a couple of minutes. And you see the spinning wheel of doom, where it's a black screen and a spinning wheel of doom. Sid dumped, and then Tyler was having the spinning wheel, and then he ended up dumping. And so for a couple of minutes, it was me and Tommy. But yeah, so I think I drove the car over the cliff when it came to the show, and I think I caused 2 of the 3 hosts to lose their internet. But now, like I said, it was fun. Humbled to have been asked, and like I said, I don't know if I'll be invited back. We'll see. But no, it was a fun experience to go nightside, kind of keeping an eye on Leagues Cup at the same time that I was looking at everything going on the planet. Okay, so gossip, rumor, innuendo, transfers, and all that kind of stuff before we get into the NWSL new collective bargaining agreement, because like I said, it's a big deal. What to watch? Probably the biggest thing, and once again, I don't know if Michael Head is kind of hanging out in the background or any of our other recent Chelsea fans, but from the Telegraph, Mike McGrath and Sam Dean, what is it that we always say about multiple authors on a byline? Headline: Raheem Sterling humiliated by Chelsea after shirt number stripped and first team banishment. Posted early this morning. He had his number 7 shirt removed, banished from first team training. Sterling has been told by Enzo Maresca to leave the club if he wants to play regular football. Given Tuesday and Wednesday off, while he and the club consider their options, with a permanent move being sought. On his return to Cobham, he'll be a part of a group of more than a dozen players who are now working away from Maresca's first-team squad. Ben Chilwell also a part of that group, who's been told to find a new team if you want to play regular football this year. It's understood Sterling will return to training this week, continue to report for his duties, even if that means playing for the U21 side, although an exit before next week's transfer deadline remains the priority. The Telegraph also understands move to Saudi Arabia currently not on the cards. Forward still hoping to resurrect his England career. Another busy day of transfer activity yesterday for Chelsea, who had announced, remember, the basic swap of Joao Felix for $45 million, hours after Conor Gallagher completes the £34 million move the other way. Sterling and Chilwell, Maresca said, quote, in this moment, they are training apart. The situation with them is both quite clear. If they're looking for minutes, then it is better if they leave. If they do not leave, then they have a contract here and they are Chelsea players. End quote. So Enzo Maresca could give 2 issues whether they're here or not. If they're still here after the transfer window ends, y'all, the U21s are over there. I think Enzo Maresca is just sick and tired of having an overloaded cart at the grocery store, and it's like, you're there with you're there with your kid, and the kid keeps throwing things into the shopping cart that you don't need, and so you're going back down the same aisle and you're putting the cereal back, you're putting the soda back, it's like it gets thrown in there, then you got to put it immediately back. That's where Enzo Maresca is right now. Enzo Maresca is down aisle 8 at the grocery store, and this cart that he is trying to shop with people keep throwing stuff in it, and he's like, no, I don't need that. And so he's putting stuff back up, and now it's to the point to where it's almost he's putting things back up on the shelves, even if the item that he's got in his hand doesn't match the aisle that you're in. You know, he's got the 6-pack of Worcester sauce, and he's in the drink aisle, and he's just to the point where, man, I got to get rid of this. And so, he puts it up there, and it's hanging out next to the water. That's where Enzo Maresca seems to be right now. Continuing with the Telegraph, remains to be seen whether Sterling and Chilwell will be able to secure satisfactory moves elsewhere before the end of the month. Both are among Chelsea's highest earners. Sterling thought to take home around £300,000 a week. That times 52 makes it about 15.6 million pounds a year. He's got 3 years left on the deal. Sterling's number 7 has been given to new winger Pedro Neto, who joined club from Wolves for $54 million earlier in the month. Trevor Chalobah had his shirt number taken away. Joao Felix is now going to wear number 14. Maresca said Sterling doesn't fit into his plans because he prefers different kinds of wingers. He also said he hasn't spoken to Sterling since last week, and he has nothing more to add. It's like, I'm done. Raheem knows the drill. That's where we're at. He wants to hang. That's on him. If he wants to play, he's got to go someplace else. Enzo Maresca's pretty much had it. 52 players ready for selection going into last weekend, and Enzo Maresca's like, nope. I got my 21. I'm good. The rest of y'all can out the door. So the 300 million pound bomb squad, the folks that are of salary and of large transfer fees, but apparently not a part of the Maresca plan. Lucas Bergstrom, Kepa, who signed for $71 million, Trevor Chalobah, Chilwell, who signed for $45, Raheem Sterling, who signed for $47.5. This is all in pounds. Angelo Gabriel, who signed for $13, Tino Anjorin, an academy product, Lukaku, who signed for $97.5, David Datro Fofana, who signed for $10 last year, Broha, who looks like he might be heading to Ipswich, David Washington, who signed for $17, Alex Matos, who signed on a free, and Harvey Vale, who's an academy product. So who trained? The metric crap ton of other folks. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 24. Oh, it's not too bad. Sanchez, Petrovic. Petrovic is apparently looking for a way out. Jorgensen, Bettinelli, Adarabioyo, Cucurella, Badiashile, Gusto, Disasi, Caldwell, Vega, Fernandez, Casade, Dewsbury Hall, Caicedo, Chukwemeka, Lavia, Guyu, Neto, Niko Jackson, Mudryk, Nkunku, Madueke, and Cole Palmer. So 24 practiced yesterday. Conor Gallagher got the hero's welcome at Atleti. But Chelsea still continues to be a mess and a half. Kieran Trippier is apparently pushing for a Newcastle exit with Everton interested. Sorry, Alex. Trippier was an unused substitute in Saturday's victory over Southampton after Eddie Howe used Tino Livramento at right back. So could Kieran Trippier expect to depart St. James? One of the top earners on more than £120,000 a week, multiplied by 52. So that's what, 6-0 is like $6.5 million a year. Eddie Howe asked Trippier to reconsider, wanted to keep him in the dressing room. Player would rather seek a new challenge, and crucially, a switch to Everton will allow him to move closer to his family in the Northwest. Bayern Munich knocked on the door in January to reunite him with Harry Kane. Newcastle rejected the offer. 2 years left on his deal. Arrived for $15 million back in 22. So Kieran Trippier might be out. Newcastle and Palace are $5 million apart. We talked about that yesterday. 60 or 65. Palace wants 60 plus 5. Newcastle right now is at 55 plus 5. I think that'll get done. The Mark Gahey transfer from Palace to Newcastle, that's getting close. So that you're getting closer on that one. And we mentioned the return of Joachim Anderson to Fulham after 3 years. Eddie Nketiah, he's looking close. Then once again, you're looking at the return of Ilkay Gundogan. And we mentioned, we were talking about it yesterday. I was trying to find the numbers. I finally did. Here's Barca, by the way. And there's a great article, and I'll post it in the Twitch pitch. Your requested reading of the day, in addition to the NWSLPA's collective bargaining agreement. On Barcelona's chaos and their finances and everything that they're having to dance around right now. And how they have this massive debt, huge debt around 3 billion euro, 2.5-ish million pounds, including the borrowing for the building of the new Spotify new camp is controlling them rather the other way around. So here's the ins and the outs of the players, the boughts and the solds over the last 3 years. Evan Harkness pieced this together. Neto, and this is all in euro. Signed for 26, sold for 3. Bellerin, signed for 3, sold for $1 million. Araujo, signed for 5, sold for 10. Dest, signed for 21, sold on a free to PSV. Kessie, signed for a free, sold for 12.5. Pjanic, signed for 60. It was a free to Sharjah FC. One of the worst signings of all time is what it's regarded as. Griezmann, signed for 120 million, sold for 22. Trincao, signed for 30, sold for 7. Braithwaite, signed for 18. Remember, is that emergency injury replacement that you could do because of the rules outside the window. And it was a free to Espanyol. So Braithwaite, that didn't go. Aubameyang, signed as a free, sold for 12. Memphis Depay, signed as a free, sold for 3 to Atletico Madrid in 22-23. That's the short version. But, yeah, there's a lot of bad money that was invested in players. But, yes, the required reading, at least number 1, is the article from the Telegraph about just how bad it is. Alex reminding us they're trying to give Livramento the starts at right back. And so that's where the Trippier situation is. So, yeah, it ain't good right now, Barca. And the fact that they are in debt 10 spots to the left of the decimal place, in current debt, 10 spots to the left of the decimal place. That's not good. So you've got that to consider as well. Nothing like all of that kind of a fun if you're trying to be a player. If you're trying to be a player in world football, and you're $3 billion in debt, billion with a B. That's not good. This morning, news before we get into the collective bargaining agreement with the NWSL. PSG Manchester United, this is from buddy Ben Jacobs. PSG Manchester United now at advanced talks for Ugarte, loan with an obligation formula. Manchester United's optimistic. PSG have stuck to their 60 million euro valuation. Clubs are much closer on an agreement. PSG is prepared to let the talks run into next week if needed. Fulham confirmed Sander Berge is joined from Burnley on a 5+1, 20 plus 5 million pounds. So 5 plus 1, 25. So, 4 a year. Once again, you get to control the asset over 6 years, 5+1. Fulham gets Berge back. Salzburg confirmed Bobby Clark has joined Liverpool, a 10 million pound package. Liverpool have a 17.5% sell-on clause. That's a rather unique number. And matching rights. Liverpool close to completing the deal on Mamardashvili for next season. Total package in the region of 40 million euro. Expected to stay at Valencia this year. Bournemouth was interested. Al Hilal working on Joao Cancelo. Talks taking place over a 3-year deal. Manchester City's prepared to sell, but no fee has been agreed to yet. Most of the dialogue is framed around getting the player buy-in. Forest confirmed Alex Moreno's joined from Aston Villa on a season-long loan with a buy option. Atletico Madrid in talks with Feyenoord's David Hanko as they look to add a left-sided defender. Leverkusen's Piero Hincapie is an option. Understand nothing's advanced yet there. Al Qadsi is also in advanced talks with Roma on Paulo Dybala. That hasn't advanced in the last week. So then Alex blames Coutinho for the whole thing. Also on the board with your gossip, rumor, and innuendo. So we'll go ahead and go there. The gossip today, once again, check your sources, please. Manchester United have been offered the chance to sign Chilwell. West Ham want to sign Carlos Soler from PSG, but have to sell before they can buy. Brighton's Valentin Barco set to join Sevilla on loan. Man, I wish Valentin Barco here in Atlanta. I'd love that. So Fabrizio Romano on that one. Napoli's director Giovanni Manna has returned to England to continue transfer talks with Brighton and about Billy Gilmore, Chelsea and Lukaku, United and Scott McTominay. That's from Gianluca Di Marzio. That's a tier A. Watford have agreed on a season-long loan deal with Bournemouth for 21-year-old English forward Daniel Jebison. Barcelona considering a move for Juve's Chiesa. How are you going to pay for it? Arsenal's Charlie Patino close to signing with Deportivo La Coruña in a permanent move. Fulham have agreed on a deal with Rayon Cherki, and Lyon have accepted a bid worth up to £16.7 million for Cherki, but that number is courtesy of our friends at the four-letter paper. So once again, take that information at your own peril. So Clark reunited with Pep Linders at Salzburg, and you get to pay $10 million. So going to the Guardian rumor mill, we mentioned all the fluff that's there. West Ham still on the market for a center back. Victor Nelson, a potential target. Plays at Galatasaray, also wanted by Sevilla, Lille, and Bologna. Deal could be done for a fee in the region of $12 million. Hammers relying on sales to generate income. So outbound before inbound, also at West Ham. United still need to clear out a few fringe players. Christian Eriksen's high on the list. Anderlecht are interested. We mentioned McTominay and Cherki. We mentioned Broha. Next on Kieran McKenna's shortlisted Ipswich, Sunderland's Jack Clark have started to make overtures toward the winger who's shown promise in the championship. Newcastle talked to Leverkusen in an attempt to sign Edmund Tapsoba. We talked about Tapsoba yesterday. Eager to bring in a center back, as once again they're still working on the Gahey deal. Trying to find suitable center backs. Brentford close on a deal with Sepp Vandenberg from Liverpool. They'd pay 25 plus possibly 5 in add-ons. Bayer Leverkusen's interested. Fenerbahce's Ferdi Kadiolu closing in on swapping Istanbul for Brighton as well. Leeds need to boost their attack, looking for Almeria's Largi Ramazani. Norwich's Jonathan Rose swapping Norfolk for Marseille after the two clubs have agreed on a season-long loan. So that's the greatest hits heading into today and this afternoon. What to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it since we're talking about it. Once again tonight, Libertadores at 6. Sao Paulo and Internacional. Sudamericanas at 8:30. Cruzeiro and Boca Juniors. And part of what I want to get into with with Nino when he shows up at 10, I want to talk about Boca and River. And also about Botafogo, because Botafogo yesterday was nuts since the Thiago Almada ties are there. So I want to get into Boca and River and what each means to their fan base, those kinds of things, and get into Libertadores Sudamericana. You can watch Libertadores and Sudamericana on BN and on BN in Espanol. You can pick that up at Fanatis, fntz.co/soccer down here. Helps out them at Fanatis, helps out us here at SDH, and it gets you a lot more stuff. CDO, Nuestra Tele, Gold TV, where you can watch Nino. For the fans, all the BNs, Liga 1 Max Pro, so you can watch Ecuadorian first and second division soccer, which has been added recently to Fanatis. And so you can watch all of these tournaments all in one place. Jason got me hooked. I blame him. Being in Espanol simulcasting as well. And also, Abby had asked at the beginning of the week where I'd been watching Caleb Wiley on the weekend. BN is the American simulcaster of Ligue 1. They signed a deal. No numbers are public yet. I would not anticipate that they're the same numbers that they have been, but Ligue 1 was hurting for distribution. BN knocked on the door again. Hey, you want to come back? Ligue 1 was like, sure. And so Strasbourg on BN with Ligue 1, it's there. ESPN Deportes has the W Champions Cup tonight at 9, Tigres and Monterrey. Fox Deportes has the league that we neither condone, endorse, nor promote at 2 o'clock. And ESPN Plus simulcasting the W Champions Cup match. Fox Soccer Plus, Central American Cup at 6 and 8. Tauro at 6 with Diriangen, San Francisco, and Heredianos at 8 o'clock. Golasso Network has League 2 from England. Notts County and Grimsby Town at 3 o'clock. I'm probably watching. And the same on Paramount Plus and CONCACAF W Champions Cup, Tigres and Monterrey at 9. All right. mentioned, Abby, good to see you, mentioned about the new NWSL collective bargaining agreement. This is a big deal. It's a big deal on a bunch of different fronts. So, from Steph Yang at The Athletic, and now instead of it being theathletic.com, it rolls over to nytimes.com for corporate synergy purposes. Here's her overview of the CBA. And there's one point that I'm going to hold back as a part of the discussion. No maximum salary in the CBA. The PA intends to publish this full on their website. Right now, there's a one-sheeter, basically. And so we'll go over the highlights as the PA words it, in addition to how Steph Yang is reporting it. Minimum salary in 2025 will be $48,500, rising to $82,500 by 2030, the last year of the deal. Players cannot be traded without their consent. Every team is entitled to charter 6 flight legs, essentially 3 round trips without needing approval. Clubs are required to charter for certain midweek games. Clubs will phase out team-provided housing as part of player compensation. More player protections and benefits from Steph Yang. One of the most difficult issues to untangle during bargaining was around the economics of the salary cap and revenue sharing. Practiced in other leagues, NBA players get a cut of basketball-related income. So if the league does well, then so do the players. And WSL has now tied the salary cap to revenue sharing, with a guaranteed minimum base salary cap to ensure players get paid even if revenue drops off or something unforeseen happens like a global pandemic. Over the next 6 years, barring renegotiation, the cap of how much teams can spend on player salaries will rise incrementally from $2.75 million to at least $5.1 million in 2030. The PA also has audit rights to enforce the financial provisions. Sidebar, I wonder if there is in fact a floor in addition to a ceiling. Just asking. 3.3, 3.5, 4.4, 4.7, 4.9 last year. The deal 2030, 5.1. Other financial provisions, such as increased end-of-season competition bonuses paid out for NWSL Shield and Rookie of the Year, among others. Players who've been in the league for 10 years or more, when they retire, will get a lump sum payment of $5,000, a small but earnest attempt at a thank you for helping build the NWSL into what it is today. Players added in other protections that increase stability for players and add to their quality of life. Every contract is now guaranteed, as opposed to allowing semi-guaranteed contracts, preventing the early termination of contracts. Players get expanded parental leave and childcare benefits. Clubs have increased staff requirements, including field maintenance and medical personnel. And injured players have longer health insurance coverage. Players also wanted to phase out the use of team housing as a benefit, which is taxed as a part of their income. That meant asking for compensation that wouldn't leave players housing insecure, which includes things like having to spend a disproportionate amount of their monthly income on rent, overcrowding, and moving frequently. With at least 20% of their players making under $40,000 a year, the PA wanted players to spend no more than 30% of their gross income on rent and utilities to be considered housing secure. Now players should be able to choose, and once again, this is Steph Yang's wording, now players should be able to choose a supplemental housing stipend if they don't want to go through the team for housing. The PA's economist came into play here. 14 teams, 14 different markets, expansion to 16 coming, setting a cap that accounted for cost of living in those disparate markets was no mean feat. The economist helped them study and measure the issue and helped guide bargaining on compensation. Easiest quote on the planet, $1 in Louisville is not the same as $1 in LA. You ain't kidding. 2013, team housing was a way to help make up for a $6,000 minimum salary. Housing included anything from an apartment shared with 2 or 3 other players to a host family. In 24, host families are a thing of the past. Housing is still an issue, especially when player housing needs vary from a freshly signed 15-year-old who still needs to live with a guardian to a married 30-year-old with children and a live-in grandparent. Quotes carried along through, though the deal runs through 2030. provisions in the CBA that allow for early renegotiation. It's called a safety net by those on the PA side. Economics of women's soccer in the U.S. have shifted so rapidly, there's no telling where the league will be in 2030. Broadcast deal, which ends in 28, up for renegotiation in 27, following a home men's World Cup. And remember, Women's World Cup in 27, World Cup in the U.S. being focused on for 31. So that was another sidebar. So you've got a World Cup in 27. You got a men's World Cup in 26 here in this continent. Women's World Cup in 27, and the U.S. shooting for a Women's World Cup in 31 after the L.A. Olympics in 28. Because remember, what the U.S. wanted to do, what U.S. soccer wanted to do, they didn't want to get caught in all of that activity and chase after sponsors for a 27 Women's World Cup and go, hey, we're here too. So that's why they pulled out of the 27 bidding and are preparing for 31. Broadcast deal for NWSL ends in 28, up for renegotiation in 27. One World Cup away on the women's side, following the men's World Cup in 26. Steph Yang says a new CBA appears to help further align NWSL with the global standard in terms of player rights and trades, increasing player choice. So the PA website. Free agency for all. These are the highlights. This is how they've highlighted it at the PA. Free agency for all. All NWSL players will become free agents when their current contracts expire. This is wording from the PA. By establishing free agency for all players, the NWSL aligns itself with the rest of the world. Free agency results in fairness of contracts, with teams and players mutually agreeing to enter a contractual relationship on even terms. We talked about the guaranteed contracts. PA says guaranteed contracts generally prevent the league from terminating player contracts prior to the end of their term, except in limited circumstances. This respects the mutuality and risk of contracts. Also protects players in the event of circumstances beyond their control, such as a latent health condition. No trades without player consent. We mentioned that. Prevents players from being traded against their will and without knowing it in advance. We mentioned workload management about the charters. Players are assured of the mid-season break and a minimum of 28 days off during the off-season. We mentioned revenue sharing, base salary cap. Prior year, NWSL media and sponsorship shareable revenues will add at least $200,000 to the base of the salary cap each year. Now, the point that I wanted to get into before we get into hour number 2 and get into Fully Loaded and discuss things with Niko. Elimination of the draft. The entry draft is eliminated immediately. This is what the PA has worded. Expansion draft is abolished immediately. The draft is an antiquated model that treats people as property to be bought and sold. The new terms will empower players to decide which team environment is the best fit for their needs and their development. That's the wording from the NWSLPA. I'll read it one more time. The expansion draft is abolished. Entry draft is eliminated immediately. The expansion draft is abolished immediately. The draft is an antiquated model that treats people as property to be bought and sold. The new terms will empower players to decide which team environment is the best fit for their needs and their development. My first question, and do not misunderstand any of this. I am glad that they finally have an agreement that has all of this common sense attached to it when it comes to the NWSLPA. I just have questions that involve one possible universe attached to the elimination of the draft. One, if the draft is now eliminated, then there are deals, and I believe that the two deals that were associated with Racing Louisville and other recent transactions inside the NWSLPA involve draft picks. What is the substitute for that? Are the teams SOL that you wagered a 2025 or 2026 draft pick on a trade? Is it going to turn in some kind of a financial consideration? The equivalent of Garber bucks? Is it AM that's attached to this now as opposed to a draft pick? And how do you assign a financial number to a draft pick when it comes to allocation money or the equivalent therein? Or are teams that traded for 2025 draft picks SOL in all this? I don't imagine they are. I just want to know what it translates into now. So with the draft being eliminated, you have teams coming into the league. How do these teams assemble their rosters now? With any expansion team under the current guise of the new agreement from now through 2030, any expansion team that comes into the NWSL, how do they assemble their squad? If there is no entry draft and the expansion draft is abolished, and you can't trade folks without their, consent, I imagine that's part of it. Hey, we'd like to trade you to Boston, to the new expansion team. If the Boston franchise or whomever, insert city here, if the expansion franchise in question in Kamloops, British Columbia, is trying to assemble a roster and the expansion draft is abolished, how do they do it? With all the free agency at the end of a year, does it just turn into an open bidding war with a salary cap being what it is? And the problems that are created therein, where if you chase after a marquee player or two marquee players, then you're shorthanding yourself when it comes to the assembly of your roster. And you have to have roster management financially. So how do expansion teams assemble their rosters? Or is it just open season with that and you're trying to sit there with all the contracts that end, okay, hey, come and play with us. And it turns into bidding wars with the other franchises as you are trying to come into the league as an expansion team, going up against the established franchises. How do expansion teams how are they assembled going forward if the expansion draft is abolished immediately, according to the PA? Then the entry draft is eliminated immediately. So once again, basically you have created free agency, immediate free agency, with all of the players that would be coming into your marketplace. And once again, you're having to navigate the cap and chasing after players at the highest bidder. So you have that financial knock-on effect of the most highfalutin player in all of college soccer, who is now a free agent, chasing after a deal that is best for them. So you have clubs having to navigate a salary cap, chasing after players who are chasing after contracts with the highest financial value, trying to assemble rosters in the NWSL. That will be the largest test, I believe, is all of the math. You're going to need folks like Chris Henderson. You're going to need folks like John Thorrington navigating the salary cap in the new NWSL. But you're going to have folks who are going to want to be paid, and I mean that in capital letters, coming out of the college draft, in addition to the established player pool that's already there now. So now what you have is a system with players exiting. You got that part. Free agency immediately for anybody leaving college. Free agency for anybody at the end of a calendar year whose contract is up. What about the college game now? And this was the knock-on effect that I wanted to get into with the idea of one possible universe is attached to college now. You have that idea with the NWSL, And now what you're probably going to create is situations where the clubs in the NWSL will be looking to the college game to set up relationships with colleges so they can steer players to those particular franchises. Keep an eye on the relationships and the infrastructure created by NWSL franchises and how they interact with the college game now going forward. Keep an eye on that. And we'll see how that lays itself out in the future. Because if you had a setup of the have and have-nots, all of that is associated with it now. So just keep an ear out for all of these things when it comes to the future of the NWSL. It's fantastic what they've done in getting this deal done with the NWSLPA. But now with the instant free agency that is associated with the lack of a draft, how does that affect what's going on at the college level? And how will it affect it? How will the college game respond as a part of the cost controls or management of the salary cap that this player pool from the colleges are heading into? Keep an eye on how the NWSL franchises integrate with the college game now. And then when NWSL franchises integrate with the college game, there's going to be a lot of colleges left out. How do those colleges navigate the landscape if and when NWSL teams have their ties to the collegiate game? I fear that it will be much like we're staring at in college football, where you have folks attracted to the big names, the big conferences, and folks that will have to be finding gems in the group of five, the power four, the group of four, whatever you want to call them in the college game. And then with the budgets that could be helped out by the franchises in the NWSL as they try and find players that they want coming out of college because there is no draft anymore, they'll find ways to set themselves up at the front of the queue. What about those programs that will not be getting any kind of look-see by the NWSL? And how will they be forced to respond and navigate the landscape going forward? So like I said, it's just, there are things to keep an eye on when it comes to the NWSL and its future, especially with this new draft setup. So we'll keep an eye on that going forward. Hour number 2, fully loaded. That is where we are. We are fully loaded. That is how this is. And for that, we go to Peru. We're going to Peru, damn it, because we're catching up with our buddy Nino Torres. And check out the wrap around the neck. Check it out. You see it right there. The man is in the checkerboards, and he is gassed up and ready to go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yellow. Everyone in the U.S., hello, America. Welcome to the fully loaded segment here.
Yeah,
on the down here with my boy, John Nelson. Thank you for having me, man. I'm so pumped today, man.
As always, my friend, it is great to catch up with you. And you wanted to talk about that rap. You wanted to talk about that rap that you brought on the show to keep those tones as toned as possible. Because in League's Cup, we had the semifinals last night.
Yes, sir.
And it was Columbus. I don't know if you've heard of this team in Columbus. They're pretty good.
Oh,
and,
yeah?
and that I've heard. And they went up against Philly, and Philly ran into that brick wall that is known as Columbus Crew. I don't think a lot of folks were surprised by the result at the end of the night, but Columbus continues to show why Wilfred Nancy is the man, capital T, capital M. He is the man, and Columbus must be reckoned with in every competition that they are in. Winning, getting to the League's Cup final, no surprise, beating Philly.
Absolutely, man. I was, you know what's so it's kind of bittersweet for me because I never got to see that new stadium, the Lord.com stadium, because they built it the year after I left, and it's so crazy, right? Because everybody was when they were having the plans to build that stadium. Everybody was no, we're not leaving Columbus Crew Stadium. We're not leaving here. I don't know about downtown. And now it's just spectacular. I just gotta say that because I got a bit a little homesick from my Columbus. But back to the game, man. The show of Cucho Hernandez and company, man. Cucho and Rossi, they were just so good. They were so good. You know, they came with shots from the left, from the right. I mean, it was a very dynamic performance from Columbus Crew. Of course, I couldn't watch the entire game because I don't. For in this side of the globe, we don't get that signal. But yeah. But so I got to watch the highlights, and I was so happy because there's in the MLS Pass, there's they got the Spanish broadcasters and the English broadcasters.
Yeah.
And the Spanish broadcaster is Peruvian for this game. Yeah, you might know of this guy. His name is Sammy Sadovnik.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's been in the US for I don't know, like 20 years. He called games for Telemundo and for CBS, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's in the MLS Pass. And I was listening to, hold on a second. I know this guy. And then they call him up. And, oh, Sammy, yes. Oh, man. That was, the whole thing was perfect. Now, Peruvian calling the game, my team winning. We're going into the finals. I know we still have to go to Philly, but we're going to take care of business over there.
You got through Philly, and now you're going to have LAFC, who finally took the slipper from the foot of Colorado Rapids and just smashed it against the staircase outside the castle. So, I mean, it's going to be on the weekend. It's going to be Columbus and LAFC. A lot of folks are thinking that might be a matchup for MLS Cup because you got Denny Bouanga, you got Madi Bogusz, you've got all of that firepower that's there for LAFC. And this one should be a fun one across the board to determine Leagues Cup champ, even though both of them will be heading into CONCACAF Champions Cup from now on. But, I mean, this one is going to be that street fight that I think a lot of folks were looking at.
Absolutely. And guess what? CONCACAF, we're not done, man. We're going to go for the CONCACAF. We're going to go for everything in Columbus, man. We're going to go for everything because we are the hardest working team in the MLS, baby.
Wilfred Nancy, is he still underappreciated, do you think, as a coach? I mean, I don't think he should be, but because it is Columbus, because it is where it is in Ohio, you're not getting the day-to-day. Is he still underappreciated, do you think, as a manager?
I think so, but now once the trophies start coming, it's gonna be a different story. This is one of those coaches that they need to prove their worth. You know, they need to prove that they can win championships, and once he wins, I think everything's gonna change for him.
And one of the other guys that we kind of look at occasionally because of ties to Aberdeen and Aberdeen's ties to Atlanta United with the partial ownership of the club and everything is Christian Ramirez. And C-Ram in Minnesota, I don't think he got a fair shake. And so then he's kind of tossed around a little bit. He's had a cup of coffee in LA. Then he goes to Aberdeen. And the offensive Christian Ramirez that we knew was there under Stephen Glass got to shine in the Scottish Professional League. And then you have a managerial change and a philosophical change. And then C-Ram comes back and he ends up in Columbus. And you end up with the rich getting richer with the C-Ram that everybody knows. And everybody's thinking, okay, so Ramirez and Rossi, they combine on a goal. You're thinking, okay, it's one to the other. And Rossi to the assist to C-Ram, but it's the other way around, and he gets that scoop, and he leaves Jack McGlynn looking in aisle 6 for the cereal and the milk, man. I mean, it was one of those things where you're like, okay, you win. And Christian Ramirez has found himself a new home and a good place to be where he can be a contributing part to all that madness that's there.
And the thing in Columbus is that it's not like any other destination in the MLS, because the scouting that they do in Columbus, getting the players from everywhere. We got players from Portugal, players from different places in the world, and now they getting C-Ram in Columbus. With this system, with this group of players, with this manager, it's just that's all you need, man, to explode as a player. And when you find yourself in the right place at the right time, and you got the support, and it's everything is in here too, man. Don't forget about the psychological aspect. Some players, well, every single human being is different, right? But there are players that they need a little bit more of support, of mental support, in order to elevate their game. The better you feel up here, the better you play. All right, that's what I think about C-Ram, man.
And there are guys that aren't even household names in their own household. I mean, if you go up to Max Arfston in Wawa, and it's like you're trying to find a grocery store. You think that Max might actually be the guy that puts the stuff on the shelves instead is actually shopping there. But there are guys that you don't know.
Yeah,
they're not household names, but they're there to do a job. I mean, Mo Farsi does fantastic. Amundsen at the back. There are a lot of guys that are selected because of what they can be. And they're not going to sit there and shine off the page, but then when they're a part of that collective, they're a part of that board that is there in Columbus, then you understand, okay, this is why that dude got picked up.
That's the brotherhood, that's the brotherhood of Columbus. That's the blue collar mentality of the players that they're playing in that team, because they understand that I'm not saying that. I mean, it's a special feeling for players in Columbus, because we know this is a small market. We know that, right? This is a team that only won the MLS Cup twice. I'm sorry, 3 times. It's 3, right? Or 2? Jesus crap. now I'm in trouble. I forgot. That is the first 1, 2, and 3. 3 cups. But at the end, Columbus is a special place for soccer in America, man. It is a special place for soccer in America. We were the home of the 2-0. Mm-hmm. All right, and it is for a lot of years. It was so hard for Mexico to go to the U.S. and beat the U.S. because we were playing here. I mean, I'd say here. Look at that, I'm here in Columbus. I still feel like home, man. Still feel like home. It's a lot of love for Columbus, man.
It is 3, and it is 3 and 4 appearances. It is 2008, 2015. They appeared and lost. So the wins are 08, 20, and 23, and you lost in 2015. So you're 3-1 in finals appearances for MLS Cup. Is there a weakness in Crew? If you were coaching against them to try and win, what weakness do you see, and how do you coach against it?
You make sure. I mean, what I will do is this, right? Don't get crazy for scoring early in the game. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So don't get. It's going to take some time to beat these teams. But if you try to go out there and get your 20 minutes initial press and get 2 goals going, and you feel that you won the game, you're done. You're done. You gotta distribute. You gotta dosify the effort, making sure that you have energy in the first minute and you got energy in the 90th minute.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're not ready, if you're not focused in the last 10 minutes of the show, you can walk away empty-handed.
Mm-hmm. You ain't kidding, brother. Our buddy Kefsey says that C-Ram and Kai Kamara is the battle of the underappreciated that we need.
Oh, wait a second. I got something. Hold on a second. Don't go. Wait.
Uh-oh. He has gone off camera. He's gone off script. He's gone over the guardrail. Christian Ramirez versus Kai Kamara is the battle of the underappreciated we need. And I think that Nino.
What is this? What is this?
Oh, boy. Look at that. The Kai Kamara jersey. Check that out. Oh, the old Barbasol. Very nice.
Look at this, man.
The old Barbasol.
Uh-huh.
That is strong. That is strong. It's like me with all of my gear. He pulls out a Kai Kamara Barbasol shirt. That's going to be for one of those guys, the underappreciated. It's going to be very, very cool to see the Leagues Cup final and who ends up getting Leagues Cup championship in 2024 and gets the appetizer plate. They get the hoist in front of their
right.
they got to work on that trophy a bit. I wanted to get into Libertadores and Sudamericana with you.
Yes, sir.
And I also wanted to have you break down River and Boca for folks that might not understand. They have their rivalries, and we know kind of casually about certain rivalries and how big they are. But before we get into the actual results of Libertadores and Sudamericana, because Botafogo, I think, was off the rails last night from what I was reading. For those that may not understand Boca and River, how would you break down what Boca and River mean to their landscapes every single day?
Just picture this in your mind, right? I want to speak Cold War, U.S. versus the USSR back in the day.
Yeah,
that's what it is. That's the kind of the rivalry there is between these two men. They hate each other. They hate each other big time. And it's the two biggest clubs. I want to say in South America, right? I understand all the momentum for the Brazilian clubs now, right? They're dominating the scene. They're just the big dogs by a long mile, all right? But when it comes to tradition, when it comes to how many people do they reach? You don't see Flamengo jerseys in freaking New Zealand. No, you see Boca Juniors.
Yeah,
you see Boca Juniors. You go to Egypt and you say Gabigol. No. You say Riquelme. You say Aymar. You say Gallardo. That's what you say. All right. This is the influence that these two teams have in the world. All right, it's as big as Real Madrid and Barcelona. It's as big as it. If you gotta think of two teams bigger than Real Madrid and Barcelona, I'm not gonna say the bigger, but matchup, it is Boca Juniors and River in the world.
Yeah, I mean, and that's literally, you've got to be careful. If you're just there, you got to be careful not to wear blue in red territory and not wear red in blue territory. You got to come up with some neutral color or sit there and say, man, I'm just visiting. I don't know what's going on.
Listen to what happened to me here in Lima. All right. This was like 25 years ago. All right. To get you an idea of this understanding of the colors, right? Mm-hmm. We were playing a Clásico, Universitario versus Alianza. And I was asking my friends, hey, you want to go? No, I don't want to go, man. They're playing at their stadium. It's the Alianza Lima Stadium, which is in I want to say a hot spot in the city. You know what I mean? It's you gotta be careful when you go there. Right. It was like, all right, screw it. I'm gonna go by myself. All right. Make sure that you don't wear any colors, man. Don't make sure that you don't wear any colors. All right. I won't wear any colors. All right, fine. get there, all these supporters, the ultras from University were in that section, the north section. So I got my ticket to be there. And but I did not wear any colors, any jersey, anything. But I bought a what is this? A bandana or something to wear, just stick it into my pocket so I could carry it and then not be like kind of undercover.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time we leave, right, there's all the police surrounding like 4, 5, 6 blocks around the stadium to protect the away fans, right? It was walking, la, 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 la. And then I just turn around. The police are no longer there. And it's just walking on the streets, trying to find a cab. Could not find a cab. I was like, all right, it's not coming. And then the people's coming up from the windows and like, hey, you, what are you doing here? And I said, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? I was like scared. I was like, oh. All the people was coming out of their houses in that neighborhood wearing the white and blue and screaming at me. I was like, why in the world they're screaming? I'm not wearing any colors. I forgot my bandana, man. I got to take off my bandana, man. Take it off, took it off, started running. Running. And the people were coming out of their houses. Said, run! There's a guy from there. Oh my God. Just keep running. And this guy gets out of his house, jump on his car, pulls his taxi. Boom. Hey, man, take me out of here. Where are you going? I don't know. Just drive, man. Just drive.
Wow.
Like he drove me off, man. He drove me off.
Wow. Yeah, it's
just imagine in Buenos Aires that happened, man. Just picture that.
Yeah, I'll picture it. I don't want to be a part of it, but I know this, that if I come and visit you in Peru, man, I'm going by your color codes, and I am hanging right off your right shoulder because I am not going to.
You don't want to mess. No.
Not freelancing anything.
It's serious, man. It's serious.
I don't doubt that for a second. Over the past week, Sudamericana, Asuncion Emiliano, they drew. Paranaense beat Belgrano. Boca beat Cruzeiro 1-0. Racing Club put 6 on Huachipato. Corinthians and Bragantino went to penalties. Fortaleza got a win last night. Lanús got a win over Quito last night. Independent Medellin shut up Palestino last night. Any surprises in the Sudamericana in the last week?
Not really. The only one is the Liga de Quito, leaving early the competition, the reigning champions. Mm-hmm. Even though they got new signings, man, they got signings on every single line in their formation, and still not. I don't know what happened with Liga de Quito when they lost in Quito in the first leg against Lanús. I was like, you're done. You're not winning in Buenos Aires. In Lanús, you're not winning there, man. You're not winning. You are your fortress. You're playing in the altitude. It's just, it's a disappointment. It is a disappointment, Liga de Quito, for me. But back to a little bit to the Boca and River. There is a chance. But now that, of course, we're going to talk Libertadores in a second. But the Boca and River could be the Copa Sudamericana champions and the Copa Libertadores champions. That'll be off the charts. But it's a high possibility. I'm telling you right now. And why I'm saying this? Boca Juniors is one of the front runners for this to win this Copa Sudamericana. Mm-hmm. But now River, they hired back Marcelo Gallardo, the best coach in the history of the institution. Now he's back, and immediately he got no new signings. He won it on his against Talleres in the Copa Libertadores. He won in the championship. There's a different energy. There's a different guidance. There's a different leadership now, and it's just unreal how a person can have that impact in a group. It is. I feel that like with the Michelis, they were kind of tired.
Yeah.
He did not respect the codes. I think he lost the group at one point when he made that conference, and he said he mentioned something that he should not say because it was something like it's a locker room It belongs to the locker room, and he exposed a couple of players.
Mm.
Since that day, it was like 6 months ago. Players like, all right, you're done. We don't believe in you anymore.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah. You don't hang the laundry outside on the line.
Ever.
Yeah. If your washer and dryer work, you don't hang the laundry on the line, and you don't do that kind of stuff. And I can understand.
Soccer, we take it seriously, man. We take it so seriously, man.
No doubt. When Demichelis says that, I don't blame you for saying that was probably the first step out the door. In the last week in Copa Libertadores, last night, it was the second leg of Palmeiras and Botafogo. Botafogo went in with a 2-1 lead. It had its own batch of crazy, finished up at 2-2. I know a lot of folks gravitate toward Botafogo up here because of Thiago Almada. And Palmeiras and Botafogo apparently was off the charts crazy last night. Was I wrong?
I know. It was insane. Those Brazilians, if in Brazil, the rivalry is so heated, man. And the rivalry is the players' rivalry. It's just not the fans. It's the players. They hate against each other, man. They hate each other. It is ridiculous. And of course, I don't know what's going on with Botafogo falling apart lately. What was last year or the year before that they got a 13-point lead, in Brasileirão, and they fell off. 13, and they lost. I think it was 7 or 8 games in a row, something like that. Okay. And I don't know. They're popular now for choking, I guess.
Wow. So there's got to be a verb or something. You know how you get the Cruz Azuleada, where Cruz.
Yeah.
One of those. We got to come up with a term, I guess, for Botafogo and keep our head low. Do it. Also last night, River Plate beat Teixeiras 2-1. The strongest, one of the damn best nicknames out there. They were down 4-0 to Peñarol after the first leg, but they won last night at a -135. So 4-1 in the aggregate. Peñarol goes through. Atletico Mineiro, they beat San Lorenzo. Colo-Colo won. Fluminense won over Gremio in penalties. Flamengo beat Bolivar, and Nacional beat Sao Paulo. You mentioned River Plate, and River Plate taking care of Teixeiras 3-1 in the aggregate. So what you're saying might be the case right now, at least through this round as you're going through, that River Plate wins one, Boca wins one, man. This could be strong.
Yes, sir. Give me 1 second, John. I'm going to plug in my thing.
Yeah, go plug in your thing. We can't have you like unplugged. I mean, that'd be bad form. No, that's all good.
I forgot about it. I thought it got enough battery, but
I need to get you. Do we need to get you an SDH extension cord? Do we need to get you an extension cord there in that office?
Maybe it'll be a good idea.
I'll send a scarf and an extension cord down to you there at the office de Nino. So you're looking at River, and so we're looking at River and the craziness that happened last night to get through with this particular round of the playoffs. What'd you see in the last week?
I think that automatically it's after the arrival of Gallardo, they're candidates. Okay. They're candidates. And today we got Sao Paulo Nacional. Mm-hmm. Sao Paulo Nacional. And that's gonna be the toughest matchup in the Copa Libertadores. And listen to this, to what I'm about to say now, people out there, you and the people who place bets. I'm gonna put some money down on Bolivar taking care of Flamengo, not just winning, but advancing.
Wow,
Flamengo.
Wow.
I don't know how much they pay, man. How much Bolivar pays?
Let's take a peek, shall we? Let's take a peek at the matchups here. Okay, so just to win tonight.
Just to
win tonight.
Yeah.
Bolivar is a -106. So you're on the minus side still, but it's not bad. Flamengo to win tonight is a +289, but they've got the advantage. And the draw tonight is a +257. So you're slightly on the minus side tonight with Bolivar to win outright in 90 minutes.
But and to advance,
let's see. Let me see if our juice box buddies at Odds Portal have an advancing element here. Let's see. Click to see more bookmakers. You're asking me to figure out how to do this with bookmakers, but to advance, I will see if I can dig that up. Let's see. To qualify. Oh, to qualify. How about to qualify?
Yeah, to qualify.
All right. Let's see. To qualify. Ooh. Oh,
How much?
okay. You're looking at anywhere, and it's all over the place, but the average is to advance a plus 381 for Bolivar.
381.
Plus 381. You can get it as high as plus 425 to advance, to win outright and advance. You can get it anywhere from plus 350 to plus 425, depending on which juice box individual you like to shake hands with. So the numbers are pretty big, because the numbers in reverse for Flamingo to advance are anywhere from minus 526 to minus 714. So that's a big number, obviously, for Flamingo with the advantage to advance, but plus 350 to plus 425 for Bolivar. So there's I think that there are some folks that are kind of in your mindset. They're like, I could see something here. And that's why the number isn't as big as it could be otherwise with that particular matchup.
Because if you, I mean, people who watch the first leg, all right, Bolivar did not get run over by Flamingo. Mm-hmm. No. It was a close game. It was a close game. I know the Flamingo got more options in to score, right? But it was a close game. It was not a dominant force, Flamingo over Bolivar. And when you go to La Paz, it's a different story. You know, it's a different altitude. Talking about 13,000 feet above sea level. It's no joke. It's no joke.
Oh, man.
So be careful.
Quarters right now: Fluminense and Atletico, Colo-Colo, River Plate. Botafogo gets the winner of Nacional and Sao Paulo. Peñarol gets the winner of Flamingo and Bolivar. You had a contest idea that you wanted to, like a pool that you wanted to start. What was in your brain this morning about that?
All right, let's the thing is, how do we bet, man? How could we make a bet for this to happen, man? How can we make it let's you wanna get Jason involved on this, man? You wanna put him
no, we gotta get the rest of the crew involved, obviously. Yeah. So what's on your mind?
So all right. You're gonna challenge me, right?
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you to pull this chart on your computer.
Okay.
And if I miss a single one,
wow,
just one. I know every single one of them.
Okay.
But what if I miss? What if I miss? What's the what's the thing?
Okay, if you miss, you have to wear.
I like that.
You have to wear something from your mortal enemy there in Peru.
Wow. All right, I'll take it.
Okay.
I'll take it.
All right.
I don't have anything. I'll have to borrow it from somebody, but I don't have anything from them.
Like I said. All right. So what matches are you looking at here for this content? What are you staring at?
I'm not staring at anything. You're staring at it. You're gonna pull up the chart. You're gonna pull up the chart. You're gonna tell me if I'm wrong or not.
Okay.
Do this. Get list of strikers for every single World Cup.
Okay.
The Golden Boot for every single World Cup since 1930 to now.
Wow. Okay. Got it. All right. All right. So Golden Boot 1930 to now. All right. Hang on. Golden Boot, World Cup. And if Niko comes in, then Niko comes in and he can share in the contest too. Okay. So Golden Boot, World Cup. Since
every single edition
since 1930. Okay, so I've dialed it up, and let's see. And this is from our friends at the Olympics, but that's the Olympics. That's not the World Cup. I don't need the Olympics. I need the World Cup. When you say Golden Boot World Cup, that's what you need. Golden Boot World Cup. And they're like, no.
Right. Or maybe a leading scorer for every World Cup or something. Maybe.
All right. So hang on. World Cup. First place, second place, third. Media coverage. Okay, Golden Boot. Here we go. Golden Boot. All right. Golden Boot from 1930. Hit me.
Guillermo Stabile, 8 goals.
Correct. 34.
Nejedli, 5 goals.
Correct. 38. France.
Leonidas, 7 goals.
Correct. 50. Brazil.
Ademir, Brazil, 8 goals.
Oh!
7. Fuck.
9. 9 goals
Really?
for Ademir.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
No. All right, keep going.
54, Switzerland.
Ah, you kidding me? I always got the fucking Ademir. Jesus Lord. All right. Coaches, 11 goals.
There you go. 58, Sweden.
Justin Fontaine, 13 goals.
Correct. Chile, 62.
This is the one that got. This is the World Cup that has the more strikers in one competition.
Mm-hmm.
So we got Bava, we got Garrincha, you got Leonel Sanchez, you got Ivanov, you got Jerkovic, and Ivanov, Jerkovic.
Yeah, you got 5. There's one more.
Bava, Garrincha, Leonel Sanchez.
Sanchez, Jerkovic, Bava, Garrincha, Ivanov,
and Florian Albert.
There it is. There it
4
is.
goals.
4 goals. 66, England.
Eusebio, 9.
70, Mexico.
The Bombardero, Gerd Muller, 10.
74, West Germany.
Gregor Slato, 7.
Well done. 78.
And this is when it comes easy, because from 1978 to 1998, every single striker scored only 6 goals. So I can tell you the names because everyone scored 6 goals. All right. Mario Kempes.
82 in Spain.
Paolo Rossi.
86 in Mexico.
Gary Lineker. I learned he's Lineker. No Lineker, it's Lineker. All right.
Gary Lineker. 1990, Italy.
El Toto Schilacci.
94, U.S.
You got Jesus. Hold on a second. Wait.
Might have got him twice.
No. What's this guy's? Jesus, man. I went blank for a second. I got it. There are 2.
Mm-hmm.
There are 2. Oleg Salenko
is
one, and the other one is is Stoikov.
Very good.
Stoikov.
Risto Stoichkov. Correct. 98.
Davor Suker.
2002.
My beloved, the best striker in the history of the game, Ronaldo Nazario da Lima.
As I sit here and I'm wearing my Pele sweatshirt today. 2006, Germany.
Freaking Lord, I'm still mad about Ademir, man. All right. Miroslav Klose.
2010, South Africa.
We got Forlan, Mueller, David Villa, and Schneider with $5.
2014, Brazil.
James Rodriguez.
2018, Russia.
Harry Kane.
And 2022 in Qatar.
Mr. Kylian Mbappe. Oh my God, I'm so mad.
You had 1 goal off on Ademir in 1950.
Crap.
That's a damn good run, dude.
Man, I'm so mad.
That's a damn good run. I guess I'll send you a toque of your mortal enemy, and then you have to wear that since you just missed a 1 goal from the one dude in the World Cup since 1930. Man, we got to take you to the establishments for entertainment when they have trivia night, and we got to make you would be solid. What games are you calling this weekend?
I don't have my schedule for the weekend. I only have the this Friday we got the Sporting game for the Primera Liga. Sporting versus Farense. The rolling first 2 games, back-to-back wins, 9 goals in those first 2. They're looking rock solid to repeat the title in the Primera Liga. I'm so mad, man. Crap, Ademir.
Oh, he's going to be cursing Ademir for the remainder of time. As always, my friend, great to catch up with you. We went fully loaded, and you were off by only 1 goal in all the World Cups. That's That is amazing that you've got that kind of recall. I mean, look, there's a trivia question that folks wander into here in the U.S., the 432s. I don't know if you've heard this one.
I
want to say 1964.
Uh-huh.
The MVPs of the American League, the National League, the National Football League, and the American Football League all wore the number 32. Who were they?
Wow.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, so
That's awesome.
that's a question that I wander into a lot. The 432s. I want to say it's 64, and it was the two of them are easy, and two of them you got to think about with the World Series and everything like that. I'm not going to say the answers here on the air, but folks can look at the 432s on their own. Be safe, my friend. We will be listening on Gold TV through our buddies at Fanatis, and I will be listening. And trust me, when I catch a game that you're on, you know I'm going to be DMing you while you're calling the match.
You know.
And letting you know what I'm thinking. But as always, great to catch up with you, my friend. We'll catch up with you again for next week, and we'll keep going fully loaded as the Sudamericana, Libertadores, and Leagues Cup and MLS and all that other stuff is going on. Wear that toque, brother.
All right, man. Thank you, John, for having me. I'll see you next week, guys. Appreciate it.
You got it. Oh, man, that's one goal. One goal. And Nino's hating life right now. Nino is hating life. He's going to go back and he's going to do remember when we were in elementary school, when we had those drills that the teachers would always give us about math and multiplication tables? 1 times 8 is 8. 2 times 8 is 16. 3 times 8 is 24. He is going to take that grid of all of the golden boot or golden shoe, whatever you call it now, from 1930. And he had all those sixes in a row. I mean, those sixes, there's like a run of like 6 or 7 World Cup competitions that have like dudes who scored 6 goals. That's it. And he had that run down. He knew 6 goals, but Ademir was the Achilles heel. But to think about, I mean, look at this. I mean, look, I'm going to do this math. All right. Uruguay, Italy, France, Brazil. Switzerland is 5. Sweden 6, Chile 7, England 8, Mexico 9, West Germany 10, Argentina 11, 15, 18 World Cups. 18 World Cups since 1930, including 1930. And Nino got every golden boot dude right and had the number of goals correct in 17 of 18. And was off by 1 goal. And it wasn't like, Stabile in 1930. It wasn't like the first one, or it wasn't one that was like buried, Najedli getting 5 and 34 in Italy. It was the 4th one in 1950 with Ademir, and he was off by 1. That is insane to me. So we will come up with an appropriate shipment from the United States. Maybe what we do is maybe we send Nino something from FC Cincinnati that he has to wear on the air for missing the 1 goal from Ademir. And I'm looking at him in the green room right now, and he is petrified. He is absolutely petrified of having to wear something from FC Cincinnati on the air after missing Ademir by 1 goal. He missed Ademir by 1 goal. That is insane to me. That recall is nuts, and we love him. Absolutely love the man. But the fact that you had all 18 goal scorers, all 18 golden boots correct, and all of the scoring numbers correct, and you were off by 1 goal, period. On Ademir, the 4th World Cup, not like some random World Cup or something where you had a lot of dudes that were scoring or whatever, but just Ademir and off by 1. I think that's what we'll do. I think what we will do, we will not touch the FC Cincinnati material because, our fingers might start smoking, just because of the touch and everything, just from having to touch it. But that's what we may do. We know we've got to send him a care package anyway. We've got to get an SDH scarf down to him. Might send an extension cord to help him out. But if we send a conventional extension cord from the United States, I don't know if that's going to work. We might have to send the converter to be into the socket. But this is what we might do. We'll send the SDH scarf. We might send the extension cord. We'll send him a 50-footer to go from one end of the Casa de Nino, the Palace de Nino, to the other. But yeah, probably what we'll do, because if he's wandering around Lima in FC Cincinnati gear, that would be safe. He's not going to get rousted like he did when he was telling the story about wearing the mortal enemy. But I think that's what we may do. We may find like a hat or a toque or something, the knit cap. We might send that down there and have that be the on-air result of missing 17 of one of the 18 golden boots by 1 goal. That was insane. So, yeah, so that's what we might do. Instead of going mortal enemy there in Lima, what we'll do is we'll go mortal enemy in Ohio. We'll go hell is real. We'll find something from FC Cincinnati. We'll send it down there with the SDH scarf. That will be, and oh man, this is gonna stick with him forever. This is gonna stick with him forever that he was off by 1 goal by Ademir in the World Cup, the 4th World Cup of 18. It's gonna stick with him, and he's gonna look at that FC Cincinnati knit cap, and he's gonna go, ah! That is legitimate. People around, there will be a noise that folks in Lima, Peru will never have been able to identify. It will have been one that they will have never heard before. And it will be that moment when Nino opens the gift package, the care package from those of us here at SDH. He opens it up, he sees the SDH scarf and goes, man, I like that scarf. That's cool. That's a great looking scarf. I will put that up in my office. It's going to be a great place. It's going to be there all day long, all night long. I'll stare at it, and I will look at the love that I have from Atlanta and SDH. And then he's going to peel back the other scarf, and he's going, damn it. He's going to look at that FC Cincinnati, whatever we get him. And there's going to be a noise coming from the Palace de Nino that folks in Lima, Peru will have never heard before. And that will be the guttural disgust of having to wear something FC Cincinnati on the air. So, but I will say this. I would have come nowhere close to Nino. I mean, the competition really should be Nino and Jason. You get Nino and Jason paired up, that would be a competition of the ages for me. One of these days when there's like a lull in competitions, and scheduling and things, maybe like in the winter, we do like a trivia bowl with Nino and Jason, like the grand masters of soccer trivia. We get the two of them lined up, going head to head. That would be amazing television. That would be amazing media to have the grand masters of the sport going head to head with each other. And like those multiple choice questions, like the economics guy gave Rodney Dangerfield in Back to School, the 32-part economics question. You get one of those and you pair it up with Jason and Nino, that would be epic to me. That would be fantastic. But okay, I think we have settled on what to send in the care package down to Lima, Peru. And I'm still damn impressed. You kidding me? Like I said, I could not come anywhere close. I mean, I would be lucky to maybe get 2 or 3 of the dudes in the proper World Cup setting. I mean, please. I would Nejedli. No. Leonidas, Ademir, Koshis. And then the 6-pack in 62, Garincha, Vava, Jerkovic, Sanchez, Ivanov, and Florian Albert. Eusebio, I probably would have gotten, maybe. Gert Mueller, I would have gotten for my time watching Soccer Made in Germany. Would never have guessed Gregor Zlato. Might have guessed Kempes because of when he came to town for Copa America. I know that Nick would have gotten Paulo Rossi. I know that Lineker might have been guessed by the group. I know that Nick would have gotten Schillaci. I don't know if I wouldn't. Jason would have probably gotten Selenko and Stoichkov. Davor Shukar, probably. Like I said, Jason. If you put Jason and Nino over here, the rest of us are sitting here fighting. We'd be, gripping and battling and the whole thing. Ain't no way. I mean, I would have to use our buddy the Wikipedias to make sure that I would come anywhere close. But damn, I mean, Nino had them all right. He had them all right. One goal off. Ademir, 4th World Cup. That's going to bug him. That is going to bug the man. Hey, you ain't kidding. All right, so let's see what else is going on. Yeah, I mean, I probably heard that noise that I just heard was probably Nino all the way from Peru that I heard in my headset or around my headset. That's what I heard. Okay. All right. So what else is going on? We'll check the other papers. We'll check what else is going on, get all the news that's fit to print. I don't know how many of you speaking of the NWSL, so we can kind of go full circle here since we went over the new collective bargaining agreement with the NWSL and the NWSLPA. With the Racing Louisville trade for Janine Becky yesterday, like I said, they're going all in. They've gone beyond all in, and they're trying to get offense, and it's going to be up to Bev Yanez to try to get everybody squared away and be on the same page and philosophically and get that chemistry together. They're going to have to get that done quick to figure that out. Sportico came up with the list of expansion cities, and that, it's an interesting list of cities that are interested in being a part of the NWSL and would have to navigate the new landscape that would be attached to what we're discussing here about no more college draft, the free agency, the whole thing. So our friends at Sportico are discussing expansion in the NWSL, and there were a couple of markets that were named as a part of the new round of consideration. And you're getting into the whole thing about, okay, what market, where you're going to play, all of those different kinds of things. And so you had the sporting valuations, and you're looking at a couple of different cities that were attached to the whole thing. Cincinnati and Denver are listed. Clink, Scale, Soshnick, and Badenhausen. Once again, what is it we always say about multiple authors in an article? At least 2 bidders for the latest round of NWSL expansion made their pitches to the league on Tuesday. According to multiple people with direct knowledge of the discussions, Cincinnati and Denver presented their offerings to the league, its bankers, and lawyers in New York. So once again, I'm imagining a corner office somewhere in New York City, perhaps in a Manhattan skyrise, say 24th, 25th floor, corner office, glass. You look out over the rest of Manhattan, and you get to see very, very pretty things. Very, very pretty things. And Nina just sent me a note. He says, I'm still looking it up because different sources say 8, another one says 9. Okay, hey, look, if you can find it, I'll take it. And you can wear your Columbus stuff with pride. You can take it and wear it, and he's still digging it up. He's fighting it hard. Like I said, I was using our buddy the Wikipedias. But it looks like corner office, Manhattan, glass, long table, maybe glass on the inside. Might have been translucent glass so people couldn't see all of the lovely pictures and the presentations and see all of the graphs and the photos and the pie charts and the projections and all that kind of stuff. Probably the frosted glass on the inside of the office building, but not on the outside. So if you were in a 30th floor skyscraper near wherever the presentation was in New York City, you probably could have looked into the building and wondered, oh, what's going on there? So it looks like Cincy and Denver met with the league, the bankers, and the lawyers in New York. Unclear whether any other expansion bidders met with the league. Meetings were held at the Arent Fox Schiff law offices in Manhattan. They represent the league, served as legal counsel last September when Boston was awarded the expansion franchise and the Red Stars were sold to Laura Ricketts. When asked about the meeting by Sportico, the league declined comment. Arent Fox Schiff did not reply to a request for comment. Color me shocked. David reminding me if the Wikipedia is different, make sure you check who last edited the page. Yes, of course. Right there with you, David. In April, Jessica Berman told the 4-letter, leagues plan to select a 16th team by the beginning of quarter 4, which would effectively mean October. That team would begin play in 26, along with Boston, who was selected back in 23. The April interview with the 4-letter, the commissioner said it's self-selecting people who understand what the expectations are for investment. We wouldn't want anyone to waste their time. For where we are, the discussions feel more sophisticated and advanced because I think we're more of a proven entity, end quote. Bay FC paid $53 million for an expansion fee. Andre Iguodala, former Facebook exec Sheryl Sandberg, Brandy Chastain, Ali Wagner, Danielle Slayton, Leslie Osborne. The Boston franchise also for $53 million, owned by Jennifer Epstein, founder of the female-led investment firm Juno Equity, and Stephanie Connaughton, a veteran of Bain and Procter & Gamble. Both have ties to the Celtics. Epstein is the daughter of co-owner Robert Epstein. Connaughton, wife of investor John Connaughton. Entering the league after Boston was in the WUSA and the NWSL from 07 to 16. Once again, remember, it was revealed that Willow Bay and Bob Iger buying a controlling stake in Angel City that valued the club at $250 million. In March, Ron Burkle sold the Wave to Levine Leichtman family in a 2-part deal that will eventually value the club at $120 million. Burkle, the co-founder of the investment firm Ukaipa Companies, paid a $2 million expansion fee for the Wave in 21 and is flipping it for $120. Not a bad investment where you can get it. And once again, you've got the new CBA removing Cleveland from the original list of potential expansion groups in New York. Cleveland Group, we've caught up with them in the past. They're here on the network, actively seeking an NWSL expansion team. Sportico could not confirm that they definitely met with the league, and the evaluation for Angel City has been updated. So it appears that in the office of Arent Fox Schiff in Manhattan, Cincy and Denver looking to be added to the list of expansion franchises in the NWSL and paying the pretty penny for it, as you should at this point. $53 million expansion fee. I'd love to know what the new expansion fee will be for this next round of folks. The Des Moines Register reporting, we talk about the USL and the growth of the USL heading into Iowa. It looks like the stadium that is going to be built for USL Iowa, it looks like the soccer stadium plan is going to be up and running. It looks like $23 million in bond dollars is going to be headed toward this particular investment. So good news for USL Iowa and for the stadium plan involving, let me see if I can get past if I could spell Des Moines. Des Moines Stadium, USL Iowa. So let's see if we can get around all of the all the search engines and see if we can come up with the actual verbiage on what's going on. Des Moines' proposed USL soccer stadium preparing to claim $23 million in state funding, and that's what you're staring at with Addison Lathers and Tyler Jett from the Des Moines Register. More than 3 years after it was selected to receive it, construction behind schedule and yet to begin. According to the Des Moines Register, the plan is showing signs of life. The Iowa Soccer Development Foundation announced formally submitted their application for the Iowa Reinvestment District funds, which would come from a share of sales taxes generated by the stadium and other improvements, including an adjoining Global Plaza site for special events. Under state law, the Iowa Economic Development Authority Board now has until July 1st, 2025 to approve the plans. The 6,300-seat stadium, set to cost $95 million, will be developed by Kraus Group, the former owner of the Come and Go convenience store chain. Remember, they're tied to Des Moines Menace. USL Championship, once again, granted a franchise to Des Moines. Plans will need to be approved before it becomes official. You got a quote from Iowa Soccer Development Foundation as a part of the news release involving Deputy City Manager Matt Anderson. Project's next steps include completing an agreement with the city for use of a remediated Superfund site where the stadium and plaza are slated to be built. City in 2021 cleared the land of the remnants of the former Dyco Wheel and Chemical Factory. Development Group also said it will request a vote by the County Board of Supervisors for the county's promised $7 million contribution, suggested it may seek substantially more. The Development Foundation still needs to raise a final $19.5 million to cover costs. They've been negotiating for additional money from the city of Des Moines. No timeline announced for the stadium construction, which was supposed to have been completed by 24. Foundation spokesperson said in an email to the Des Moines Register, construction will not begin on the site until the funding gap is closed. Her email listed the county's expected share at $17 million. So there is a funding gap that is attached to what might be happening in Des Moines. Kraus also owns Parma. And in an interview with Gazzetta di Parma back in February, the team's corporate managing director said Kraus fully intends to fund the team's new stadium, now budgeted to cost $150, up from a 2021 estimate of about $97 million. From the time of Kraus's acquisition of the team, Parma Calcio, in September 2020, through the end of last year, according to the team's financial findings, Parma Calcio has lost about $314 million. And yeah, Kraus also owns Des Moines Menace. And so that's where Des Moines Menace, the Come and Go convenience store chain, all of these things come together. The sale of Come and Go to Maverick Convenience Stores was completed in 2023. Reuters reported the Kraus Group had been seeking $2 billion. So that's the latest out of Des Moines. Also, you know how we like to follow Rick Westhead, because if you are being chased by Rick Westhead, that's not something that you want to have done to you personally. He posted this to his 280-character app account. 6 months after a trade union representing players on Canada's senior women's national team filed a $40 million lawsuit against 15 current and former Canada Soccer board members, some of the defendants now have a lawyer. Westhead is now hearing Peter Wardle from the Toronto law firm Singleton, Urquhart, Reynolds, Vogel will work on the defense. The lawsuit alleges board members breached their fiduciary duties to Canada Soccer in 2018 when they approved a media and sponsorship contract with the private company Canada Soccer Business. The defendants have not yet filed a response to the lawsuit. So we're getting stuff back from 2018 that is being chased after. So that's what we're looking at with Canada Soccer and Canada Soccer Business as we're chasing everything there. So, yes. And David, once again, reminding me about Wikipedia and Wikipedia entries. So, and Nino said that he's getting some that say one number and some that say another number. So we still need to send him a care package anyway. So we'll see what happens with the care package and with Nino. But it's always great to catch up with Nino and go fully loaded every Thursday. Niko is one of the busiest men in the Pacific Northwest. And so if we find a way to catch up with Niko today, we can. We'll post it and put it on tape. Otherwise, we'll catch up with him next week when there will be matches to talk about. Tomorrow, we might even catch up with him tomorrow. Tomorrow, once again, folks are flying to Los Angeles. Atlanta United with Alexei Miranchuk heading to L.A. to take on LAG. And we've got Leagues Cup to talk about. We've got the twos to talk about. We've got all of these different conversations that we have, all of the different actions, all the different matches to look at. It's a weekend of competition in Major League Soccer. It is MLS Next Pro on the network tomorrow night. Maddie and Mateen Rad will have the call for you from the Fraction with Atlanta United and Orlando City B. Pregame at 7, kickoff at 7:33. You can listen to us at soccerdownhere.mixler.com. So Mateen the Dream and Maddie Cruz and the ones and twos tomorrow night up at the Fraction. But we'll talk we'll talk about that tomorrow. We'll talk about MLS tomorrow. We'll talk about whatever's on your mind tomorrow. All of that stuff. Because that's what we're here for every single day here on SDH. Thanks for dropping by as you always do. And it's a busy day. A busy day when it comes to transfers. Great day of news out of the NWSLPA. But to the point that we were making, and I'll do this before we go, to the point that we were making about the trickle-down effect with college and how it might affect what's going on with the new deal that we've seen with the new collective bargaining agreement. Keep an eye out on what is going on at Ohio State as part and parcel to a possible future in college. Matt Brown at Extra Points out of Chicago. Story out of the Columbus Dispatch. Headline from Matt: Ohio State's new leadership has been telegraphing this sentiment. They're going to slash funding in many of their Olympic sports. I expect many Big Ten teams to do the same, and perhaps even the conference. Few outright sport drops, big scholarship cuts. Story from the Dispatch had these two paragraphs. Carter told the Dispatch in an interview this week, athletics has been self-sustaining for more than a decade and that the university does not want to use taxpayer dollars or tuition dollars to support all the teams in the future. Quote, we'll still have scholarships. We'll still have programs. Some of those sports may start to look and act a little bit more like a club sport, but yet compete on the Division I level and still travel and still compete. So the story out of the Columbus Dispatch and Sheridan Hendricks. Ross Bjork talked paying athletes and maintaining 36 teams with the trustees in a conversation that included Ohio State University President Ted Carter. They all met for the first time on Wednesday, aligning decision-making between the athletics department and trustees. 20-minute public session. And so you got into the whole NIL discussion that was a part of it and the settlement involving NIL. $2.8 billion in back pay to former NCAA athletes over a 10-year period. Get into the back payments as a part of all of the information. Ross Bjork said that roster limits means Ohio State will likely lose about 150 student athletes. Ability for conferences in the NCAA to regulate NIL from an open market to third-party structures. And Bjork, in trying to keep all 36 sports, once again, we mentioned what President Carter said. Bjork said he wants Ohio State to be best in class and a leader in the modern era. So keep an eye on things like that in the B1G about your non-revenue and your low-revenue sports and how they're affected downstream from everything else. And like what we talked about this morning involving women's soccer as an example, men's soccer as an example. David says the diving coach for Minnesota maybe had an interview where he indicated this change in scholarship rules could do this and or crater non-revenue and Olympic training type sports. Yeah, it absolutely could. And it could turn a lot of them into, as it was denoted by President Carter, it could be literally like club. So you could have current D1 programs that might end up as D3s that are just playing at the D3 level because they're not going to devote the resources to it because of everything else that's financial. So then what do you do if you have As the Olympic diving coach. So then what do you do to make up for those financial shortfalls? We've already seen it in Canada with the tenured professorship for Jesse Marsh, but once again, we don't know how deep that goes. But you're having MLS teams pay the freight to the national team for a national team coach. If you extrapolate that and that idea to the college level, do not be surprised if you have professional franchises in sports that are across the board. And like I said, since we're talking soccer, this is where I'm heading with this, at least this morning. If you have professional soccer leagues with teams that notice financial shortfalls with the sport because resources are being devoted to money-making ventures on campuses, do we get to a point where, much like we saw in Canada with the national team on the men's side, do we see professional franchises helping sustain universities with their own funds and have it be in turn almost like a pipeline, or it would be a pipeline, for those athletes to head to those locations if there is no draft? Just a thought. A couple of other things before we get out of here. NYCFC2 is going to play their first matches at Icon Stadium, September 6 and September 11. They will no longer be on the top of the parking structure, top of the parking deck at St. John's. They're going to be playing their first matches at Icon on September 6 and September 11. And really cool news out of Memphis. Memphis 901 has extended head coach Stephen Glass's deal through 2025. So very, very cool stuff for Stephen Glass there in Memphis. He's going to be staying for a while. And NYCFC2 is moving off the top of the parking deck. But like I said, and I wanted to spend time on the new NWSL deal for a reason this morning. And then we find out what happened with Ohio State. And now David's letting us know about Minnesota. That's the B1G. Keep an eye on the non-revenue sports in this new day and age. How do they survive? You have to find ways to survive. And we'll see about subsidies. It's another show for another morning. We'll be back in a little less than 22. Thanks for hanging out with me as you always do. Thanks to Nino for dropping by and going through Fully Loaded. And then he's going to be searching 8 and 9. And we're going to send him something from FC Cincinnati anyway. And we'll see if we come up with definitive proof on Ademir's number of goals scored in the 4th World Cup. Man, that's the only thing he got wrong the whole time. Got all the goals, got all the goal scorers, and he was one off on Ademir. And now he's seeing multiple numbers there. Thanks again for hanging out with us. We got transfers, we got news, we got Nino, we got more news, and that's the show. Like I said, we'll be back in a little less than 22 to break everything down again. Get you ready for the first weekend back for Major League Soccer, as most everybody except for the Final Four have made it to the end of the Leagues Cup tournament, and we'll go over everything that's on everybody's mind heading into the matchup with LAG. If you missed my conversation with our buddies over at Scarves and Spikes, you can go to their YouTube channel and check it out there. And it was a fun time, like I said. I don't know if they'll ever invite me back, but we'll see. Closing credits, final billboard on the day. I'll whistle us out, and we'll be back at it once again in a little less than 22. Mucha Platiel played safe, and we're going to whistle us home.